Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. What makes someone successful? Well, it's not simply finances, to be sure. Perhaps it's being charitable or reliable and doing what you say you'll do. So, would you consider yourself successful? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Mandy Hollway explores the attributes that constitute success. As CEO of Courageous Leaders, Mandy discusses how you too can develop and apply these same attributes. So, what is success exactly? And how can someone achieve success in work and in life? Mandy Hollway answers by quoting best-selling author James Clear. She's talking to Chris Ashmore.
Success is the product of the severest kind of mental and physical application. It's all about focus. And when I read that, I was like, whoa, and if you think of some of whether you like them or not as humans and what they've done, some of our most successful in terms of revenue, profit, all that kind of stuff, again, depending on how you measure success, myopic focus, and they take all the distractions away. So I found it quite interesting to read that Steve Jobs, the reason he always wore a black skivvy and black pants was it just took one of the distractions away. He didn't have to worry about what to wear.
Obviously.
Yes.
Well, if focus is so important, then Mandy, how do we become more focused?
Yeah, well, and that was a really good question. It was something I really pondered during the severest part of lockdown. And there was 4 things that I came up with through all the research I was doing. And one of them was about delaying gratification. One of them was about withstanding temptation. And I think that's a hard one, and the gratification is that instant thing. Well, I could go and do this and I could go and do that. And overcoming fear in order to do what you had decided you really needed to do, and doing the things that you decided were most important. So it's always about importance rather than urgency, which is often, and I've fallen into that trap several times, you prioritize things. When you prioritize, it's usually about urgency, not importance, because this is important, but it can wait. And so temptation to do the urgent thing and get that gratification from doing something urgent, that is how we create the focus. And none of that is easy.
Indeed. Well, other than focus, what other attributes are important in successful people?
Knowing what your strength is and working from that point of strength. So often with people I work with, I get them to complete a character strength survey, which is based on values very holistically, and then saying, well, so what are your values? What are your personality preferences? What are some of your experiences and your skills? And just really helping people to work from a point of strength rather than what they think they ought to do or need to do to keep other people happy. And then actually create deliberate practice around that, so making sure that I am living within those strengths on a daily basis and making myself reflect on that.
Well, how do you suggest people develop these attributes and then apply them to what they do?
To me, the most powerful learning tool is reflection. Making sure I set aside time at the end of the day. I prefer it at the end of the day. Some people might prefer to do it at the beginning of the day, reflecting on the past and thinking about the future, whatever's going to work for you. But actually taking some moments to go, so what actually happened today? What did I choose to do? What did I choose not to do? And I just prefer using Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats. So you put on the white hat, what happened? You put on the yellow hat, what worked well? You put on the black hat, what didn't work? What got in my way? What challenged me? Put on my red hat, which is, how did I feel? How did I feel at the start of the day? How do I feel maybe halfway through the day? And how do I feel at the end? And then put my green hat on to go, so what do I learn from this? If I was to have my day over, what would I do differently? Because I think if we don't take those moments to learn, then it's like running on that little treadmill. We just keep running, and then we wonder at the end of it, we've had a lot of activity, but we haven't really got anywhere.
And determination, like being focused. It's easy to be determined for short periods, but how do you maintain determination over a long period of time?
Yeah, and I think this is really coming to the fore during COVID as well. What we're seeing is, the long game is much harder to be determined about. And I do remember listening to a CEO talk, it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and I really liked what he said, and I've really thought through it a lot over the last few months, is talking about 90-day plans. So you still got your long stint there, but you work in bursts of 90 days. Now, I've said, I think even through COVID, I think even 90 days is too long. I've been shortening that to 30 days. What's realistically achievable over the next 30 days? What can I focus on that's really going to be important and is going to get me towards the longer game over these next 30 days? So I think it's a combination of like the 30, 90 days and then the 3, 9 years kind of thing. And I think oscillating between those can actually keep that energy up. But ultimately, for that determination, you also have to be looking after your energy, so your physical energy, your spiritual energy, your emotional energy, and have some routines in place to make sure that you're able to stay healthy and well.
Now, Mandy, I suppose to finish up with, is there anyone that you look up to or admire or describe as being successful?
The person that I'm thinking about is a very dear colleague of mine in Canada. And I have so valued his laser focus during some really tough times and his willingness to share. So the laser focus always on who are your clients, what can you do, how can you support them. That sort of laser focus has been so inspiring. So for me, I would describe him as successful because he's able to laser in on what's going to make a difference to me and my definition of success and the kind of human I want to be. And I think the world is changing so dramatically that I think it's really, really important that we define what success looks like in a very holistic way, and then we attract others like that can inspire us.
That was Courageous Leaders CEO, Mandy Hollway. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.